buddy? Let's see. Alrighty. Share. Hi, cat. That was loud. Alrighty. That one. It's a fun news day today. Star went to big one. Jeffrey Epstein files. Fucking goddamn it. Jeffrey Epstein files. FBI withholding the documents from AG Pam Bondi? Question mark? Jeffrey Epstein files a letter purportedly written by AG Pam Bondi to the newly sworn in FBI Director Kash Patel has been doing the rounds on social media, as has some plucky intern or social media person for the, I think it was the Senate Judiciary GOP or something like that. Rickrolled everybody with it. It was wonderful. But, yeah, we were promised them Jeffrey Epstein files, and, what did we get? Treason! We got treason. Sedition. Rogue elements in the FBI disobeying their direct report. Who the hell's gonna roll? So, Jeffrey Epstein files, the documents which contain flight logs and, quote-unquote, a lot of names related to Jeffrey Epstein, the late financier who definitely did not kill himself, accused of sex trafficking, have reportedly been withheld by the FBI. A letter purportedly written by Attorney General Pam Bondi to the newly sworn-in FBI Director Kash Patel has been doing the rounds on social media. According to the letter, Bondi will release the Jeffrey Epstein files at 8 a.m. on the 28th, and directs Patel to conduct an immediate investigation into why her order to the FBI was not followed. That's a good fucking question. So here's a full letter. Oh boy, it's good. So it's all the pleasantries. Dear Director Patel. I can't do a female voice, so I'm just going to do like a... I don't know. Before you came into office, I requested the full and complete files related to Jeffrey Epstein. In response to this request, I received approximately 200 pages of documents, which consisted primarily of flight logs, Epstein's list of contacts, and a list of victims' names and phone numbers. I repeatedly questioned whether this was the full set of documents responsive to my request, and was repeatedly assured by the FBI that we had received the full set of documents. Late yesterday, I learned from a source that the FBI field office in New York was in possession of thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation and indictment of Epstein. Despite my repeated requests, the FBI never disclosed the existence of these files. When you and I spoke yesterday, you were just as surprised as I was to learn of this new information. Whoo, buddy, that right there, just that opening paragraph, or those opening, that opening salvo there, holy yo, fuck. So, if this is valid, which I'm pretty sure it is, like, I'm pretty sure that this is, like, legit, considering how bummed everybody was with their binders and shit. But, bruh. Rogue agents at the FBI ignoring the Attorney General of the United States to keep the Epstein information hidden. Didn't have that on my fucking bingo card for 2025. Like, these motherfuckers are just itching for it, yo. Like, by 8 a.m. tomorrow, February 28th, the FBI will deliver in the full and complete Epstein files to my office, including all records, documents, audio, and video recordings, and materials related to Jeffrey Epstein and his clients, regardless of how such information was obtained. There will be no withholdings or limitations to my or your access. The Department of Justice will ensure that any public disclosure of these files will be done in a manner to protect the privacy of victims and in accordance with the law, as I have done my entire career as a prosecutor. She just loves throwing that one in every time she opens her fucking mouth. It's like the, let's see, Pam Bondi was a prosecutor, CrossFit, vegans, those are the three, like, you'll know within 3 seconds of meeting them every time. I'm also directing you to conduct an immediate investigation into why my order to the FBI was not followed. You will deliver to me a comprehensive report of your findings and proposed personnel action within 14 days. I hope Kash Patel's proposed personnel action within 14 days of why this was, like, I hope his personnel action is, break it to 1,000 pieces and scatter it to the fucking wind. Like, this right here, the fact that they did not follow her order to turn over the documents, the fact that they gave her, what'd she say, like, 200 pages, was it, at the beginning? Yeah, 200 pages, and they're supposedly in possession of 1,000 or more? What the fuck? Like, why is the FBI so, like, gung-ho about protecting pedos from being public? Like, there must be some really important people on that list a lot of times claim to have done a lot of weird shit in order for them to be acting the way they're acting. Because that is not... Man. I appreciate your immediate action to this important matter. I know that we are both committed to transparency for the American people, and I look forward to continuing to work with you to serve our president and our country. Sincerely, Pam Bondi, Attorney General. Mint could not independently verify the authenticity of the purported letter. Bondi has earlier said that she would release the much-debated sensitive files on Thursday, 27 February. I think tomorrow you're going to see some Epstein information being released by my office, she told Fox News on Wednesday. She said her department was working on protecting the personal information of over 250 victims connected to Epstein, who took his own life, allegedly, while awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking charges. Bondi said she hoped to release a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information on Epstein, and then blah, blah, blah. But, the plot thickens. So the mysterious man with all this money and all these underage girls in private islands and blackmail and just the plot thickens. How is it that a dead man can keep secrets damn near 10 years after his death? When did he die? 2019? So that's 6 years ago? Like, he's still actively keeping secrets after he has died. That is impressive. Like, information gonna come out? Nope. Think again. Like, Tomorrow's going to be an interesting day. Unless we get blue-balled again. But next one. Woman suspected of vandalism of Colorado Tesla dealership with Molotov cocktails and graffiti. I think it's called arson when you vandalize a building with fire. That's right? When you vandalize a building with fire, I'm pretty sure that's called arson, not vandalism. That's kind of a... That's why mostly peaceful firebombing of a Tesla dealership, like... Woman in Colorado is suspected in a string of vandalism against a Colorado Tesla dealership that included Molotov cocktails thrown at vehicles, the words Nazi cars spray painted on the building, and a message that appeared to be directed against Tesla founder Elon Musk. From reproductive rights to climate change to big tech, the independent... blah, blah, blah. I don't care. The actual article start. Shut up, independent. I don't care. I don't want to give you money. You're media. It's bad enough I have you on my screen. I'm too lazy to archive you. Fuck off. A woman is suspected in a string of vandalism against a Colorado Tesla dealership that included Molotov cocktails thrown at vehicles, word Nazi cars, blah, blah, blah. Already read that. Appears to be directed against Tesla founder Elon Musk, according to court documents. Lucy Grace Nelson was arrested Monday in Loveland after police said she returned to the dealership there with additional incendiary devices because whatever amount of Molotov cocktails she brought was not enough for the party and they needed more. Like... The persecution complex of these people is clearly becoming dangerous. Like, Elon Musk has done nothing but be autistic, launch rockets, and save the U.S. taxpayer money. And the thanks he gets is this bitch calling him a Nazi and trying to burn down a Tesla dealership. I realize he's not there and this, that, and the other, whatever. But it's symbolic of it, and you had, at the beginning of the year, the Tesla Cybertruck blowing up in front of the Vegas, or the Trump Tower, which, that one just kind of disappeared out the news and never got talked about again, didn't it? Kind of like the last time something big like that happened in Vegas, got dropped right out the news and never talked about again afterwards, didn't it? But she returned to the dealership with additional incendiary devices and materials used in vandalism. Police are still investigating her alleged motive, department spokesperson Chris Padgett said. I think that any officer questioning her motive at this point should probably be fired for being a fucking window-licking retard. Because I think her motive is quite clear. It is a Tesla dealership. She is making a reference to Nazis, not hearts going out to the American people, and other messages that they are scant on details on for some reason, but they're directed at Musk. I think her intent is pretty clear. Very clear, actually. Crystal clear. Like, I don't think she likes Elon Musk. Ashley St. Clair, be careful. This could be your future if you're not vigilant. This is what hate does to a woman's heart. The case comes amid rising concerns voiced by Democrats and some Republicans about Musk's influence over the administration of President Donald Trump and follows recent protests at Tesla's storerooms elsewhere in the U.S. And conspicuously, the cause of that concern is not mentioned in this, with the media just fueling these delusional conspiracy theories, which I never thought I would make that attack in my life. Holy shit. But I mean, that's basically what it is, right? Like, let's flip the script. This is the right doing it because it's politically motivated, and it's those Alex Jones listening conspiracy theorists are dangerous and need to be dealt with. So, in this case, you know, they're doing exactly. I mean, it's typical Democrat behavior when you look at it. They're doing exactly what they accuse the right of doing any and every time they lose an election or stub their toe or fail a test in math class. Like, everything is the Republicans' fault. There is nothing that the Republicans can do to win them over or even like satiate them or shut them the fuck up. And personally, I believe it's time that we look at the Human Rights Act of 1968. I think it's the Human Rights Act of 1968, and really carefully read the part about communists and how they're not people, and perhaps reevaluate our strategy for dealing with these assholes. Because it's very clear what they would be doing if they were in power right now. So, Nelson was arrested on state charges. Those rat bastard cops! How dare they arrest this innocent woman who is just trying to warm up a Tesla dealership with some Molotov cocktails and good cheer. Like, good. Lock her away and throw away the fucking key. She deserves to see 10 times more time in jail than any of the January 6ers. She actually did do bad things. Like, comes amid rising concerns voiced by Democrats and some Republicans about Musk's influence over the administration of President Donald Trump. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, she was arrested on state charges of using an incendiary device or explosives during a felony, criminal mischief, and criminal attempt to commit a felony in connection with vandalism. Monday, police said, I hope the ATF gets involved. Good. It looks like they are. 10 years, did those Molotovs have tax stamps? I don't think so. However, police said that they are working with the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, and federal charges were likely. Good. Nelson, who posted bond and was released from jail Tuesday. Why? No. No. No, not with violent people. No, we don't do that with violent people. No. No. Did not immediately respond to telephone message on Wednesday. Maybe she was learning how to make a alarm clock with it? If you catch my drift? The arrest affidavit outlining police's evidence against Nelson suggests there could have been a second person involved on the grassy knoll that autumn day. Nothing that the person seen on surveillance video during one of the six incidents since January 29th seemed to have a smaller build than Nelson, so skinny bitch, or she's just a fat bitch. But it identified Nelson as the person seen at other times. Padgett said police were investigating the possibility of someone else being involved, declined to release more details about the case because of the federal investigation. Well, that's interesting. In one of the incidents, someone spray-painted an obscenity believed to be directed at Musk before being chased away by a security guard, the affidavit notes. That poor guard, he had to do so much paperwork because that asshole. I guarantee it. Security footage from the dealer also showed someone throwing Molotov cocktails into a row of Tesla sedans. Why? What does that accomplish? Like, the dude's an advisor. Like, what the fuck? These people are delulu. Affidavit said that at least 4 vehicles worth a combined total of $220,000 were targeted by the incendiary devices, which were crafted from empty liquor bottles. Police said that Nelson was arrested. When she was arrested, in her car, they observed cans of spray paint, gasoline bottles, and various cloth pieces that could be soaked with an accelerant. Pro tip for the would-be freedom fighters out there. tampons in the next to the bottles for your fuses. You're welcome. Do not do that. Do not, absolutely do not do that. I am not saying that you should ever do that. I do not advocate violence. In fact, I hope that anybody who tries to do that catches themselves on fire and learns a very, very valuable, painful lesson. But I have read that tampons make excellent rags for Molotovs. I read a lot. A woman who answered the phone at the Tesla dealership in Loveland declined to comment. Tesla did not return an email seeking comment. It's interesting. Nobody's talking in it, though. Next. This one's gonna be fun. Chief Justice John Big Dick Roberts pauses order for Trump badmen to pay $2 billion in foreign aid by midnight. It's Chief Justice John Roberts on Wednesday paused a court-imposed midnight deadline that would have required the Trump administration to release $2 billion in frozen foreign aid, a goal that the government has claimed it is unable to meet. Good. Keep the funding frozen. Fuck these assholes. Chief Justice John Roberts on Wednesday paused a court-imposed midnight deadline that would have required the Trump administration to release $2 billion in foreign aid, a goal that the government has claimed it is unable to meet. This emergency appeal marks the first time Donald Trump's efforts to drastically remake the federal government, including with deep cuts across government agencies, have reached the nation's highest courts. And I'm amazed that it took this long, in all honesty. I'm amazed that the Supreme Court didn't just rule on all of them and be like, what the fuck are you doing, lower courts? Get the fuck out of here. This is not your place. Executive privilege. Bye. Do it again and we'll just remove you at that point. The case appears likely to put the justices on a collision course with Trump's sweeping efforts to consolidate power within the executive branch. I like how they're saying consolidate power within the executive branch as if this is not a constitutionally vested exercise of power in the executive branch. Like, he's consolidating power that he already has. These people are evil. No matter how much you hate the media, it is not enough. Robert's order does not resolve the underlying questions raised by the case because the underlying questions raised by the case are pants on head retarded and don't have any actual justification. Rather, it imposed what's known as an administrative stay to give the courts a few days to review written arguments in the case. Roberts is the justice designated to handle emergency cases from the Federal Appeals Court in Washington, D.C. And see, what could have prevented this is if you had the injunction require a bond to be able to post that is equivalent to the amount of money the plaintiff would be out should the injunction be reversed. So in this case, they would keep the $2 billion. Because guess what? The Chief Justice called for the groups that sued the administration to respond by Friday. Tick-tock. It's tomorrow. The Trump administration raced to the Supreme Court late Wednesday, just hours before midnight deadline, and urged the justices to step in immediately, the second time Trump has rushed to the high court since taking office last month. Another pending Trump-related case deals with the president's firing of leadership at the Office of Special Counsel. Again, a body overseen by the executive. That's like saying the CEO of a company can't fire the head of HR. They could fucking fire everybody at the company and just shut it up if they wanted to. At issue in the latest appeal is billions of dollars in foreign aid from the State Department and the United States Agency for International Development, otherwise known as USAID. So it's not actually foreign aid, it's USAID money. It's grants, it's bullshit to NGOs, it's... Fuck these... Ugh. Commies are not considered people
by our laws. Just a reminder. The Trump froze in January as he sought to clamp down on federal spending and bring it more in line with his policy positions and the majority of the United States and the majority of the people therein. Like, you... CNN! U.S. District Judge Amir Ali, nominated by, big surprise there, Joe Biden, imposed a temporary order requiring that money to flow while he considered the case. I do not think you know how this works. After the plaintiffs asserted the Trump administration had not adequately restored the funding, Ali responded by ordering payment by Wednesday at 11:59 Eastern Time of all foreign aid that had been completed by the time of this order. Fuck off, dude! Like, I want to see Trump just say no to one of these people. To just flat out, like, make me. The Trump administration told the courts that it would take multiple weeks to meet the judge's request. The district court's imminent and arbitrary deadline makes full compliance impossible. Acting Solicitor General Sarah Harris, the administration's top appellate attorney, told the Supreme Court on Wednesday. In one notable section of the appeal, the administration told the High Court that it takes seriously its constitutional duty to comply with the orders of federal courts. That language was clearly a recognition of blowback Trump and his allies received in recent weeks, as they have flirted with the notion of defying court orders they disagree with or attempting to impeach judges who issue them. I want to just... Article 2 of the United States Constitution establishes the executive branch of the federal government, which carries out and enforces federal laws. Article 2 vests the power of the executive branch in the office of the President of the United States, lays out the procedures for electing and removing the President, and establishes the powers of the President and his responsibilities. Section 1 of Article 2 establishes the positions of President and Vice President, and sets the term at both 4 years. Vesting clause declares the executive power of the federal government is vested in the president, and along with the vesting clauses of Article 1, Article 3 establishes the separation of powers among the three branches of government. It also establishes the Electoral College, but let's look at the actual text of it here. Give me the text. Give me the text. The executive power shall be vested in a President of the United States of America. He shall hold his office during the term of 4 years, and together with the Vice President, chosen for the same term, be elected as follows. These are the independent... Can I just get the... God damn it. Not to pop over to Grok for the text, because Grok is actually halfway decent in this shit. I don't want to annotate it. Okay, here we are. It's a bit long, but... Article 2, Section 1. So this is the election part. ¿Dónde está? So that's what qualifies somebody to be a president. Looking for where it is. Where's the vesting clause? Where's, like, the vesting process? Well, actually, it doesn't really, like, okay. The executive power shall be vested in a President of the United States of America. He shall hold his office. Okay, so vesting clause. The executive power. The, meaning the power. The total of the executive power shall be vested in a President of the United States of America. Now, what branch of government does USAID belong to? USAID is an independent agency of the United States government, but it operates under the overall foreign policy guidance of the Department of State. Well, what is the Department of State, you ask? Glad you asked. So what branch does the Department of State belong to? The United States Department of State, DOS, or simply the State Department, is an executive department of the United States federal government responsible for a country's foreign policy and relations. Okay, so there you have it. The agency that's bitching about Donald Trump exercising power over their funding is an agency under the classification of the executive branch. If the power is vested in the president, and the president alone determines the executive, how exactly can a court tell him he can't exercise his duty within his own branch of government? Like, that's like him walking up into the fucking courtroom and saying, "Hey, judge, I don't like you. You can't fire your interns." Stay in your lane, judges. I'm a fucking idiot, and I understand that. So, overreach, blowback, fuck off. Nuh-uh. The government, Harris wrote, is undertaking substantial efforts to review payment requests and release payments. The group that sued have balked at those explanations, suggesting that a small number of political appointees within the administration are refusing to authorize essentially any payments. Guess what? They can. It's within their right. Fuck you. Get out of the courtroom. Stop wasting the taxpayers' money. Go find a real job. Get fucked. Like, this is such a stupid fucking exercise in... Donald Trump already has these powers. He can't consolidate these powers anymore. He already has them. It says it in the fucking Constitution. This is how delusional these people have become. It's... like... It's possible that the government may run into a major problem when the court begins to review the request more thoroughly. In explaining its reasoning for rejecting the administration's bid to halt the deadline, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit said that the enforcement order at issue was not one that could be appealed in the first place. Appellants cite no case that has held such a later issued supporting order is appealable, the court said in its unanimous ruling. Steve Valadek, CNN Supreme Court analyst and professor at Georgetown University Law Center, said Roberts' move isn't an indication of how the court will treat Trump and the foreign aid freeze overall. Should be. If you are a person teaching law at a law college and an analyst for CNN, and you don't understand separation of powers and vesting clause, we've got a bigger problem than what's going on in government. We have a problem with people just being illiterate and getting into places of privileged position and power. It's really just a play for time in this case. Perhaps a little as 2 days to give justices time to sort out whether or not they should pause Judge Ollie's ruling or face the government to turn the challenge foreign aid funding back on while litigation... They don't have standing to bring the case to begin with. Like, that's the part that I don't get in all of this, is like... Fuck these people. Roberts' pause comes as a Wednesday court filing shows the Trump administration says it's terminating more than 90% of the U.S. Agency for International Development's foreign aid awards. Good. Should be 100%. In total, nearly 5,800 USAID awards were terminated, and more than 500 USAID awards were retained. The filing from the administration said total ceiling value of retained awards is approximately $57 billion. In addition, USAID Award terminations, approximately 4,100 state awards were terminated. 2,700 state awards were retained. Significant slashing of foreign aid awards is a blow to the work of nonprofit organizations and contractors. So not governments? So you mean to tell me that... See, like, that right there at the end just makes it even that much worse. Aid programs around the world have ground to a halt due to a sweeping funding freeze and review of billions of dollars of assistance. It also comes as the Trump administration has either placed the majority of USAID's workforce on leave or terminated them. Good. But the fact that aid programs around the world are grinding to a halt, like, sorry? You have your own governments? Like, we have people sleeping on the street, not being able to get mental health services that they need, not being able to get physical health services that they need. We have veterans that have to deal with the VA, need I say more? We have the fentanyl drug problem, drug war bullshit going on. We have North Carolina that still needs to be rebuilt in Appalachia. You've got Pacific Palisades that still needs to start being rebuilt in California. We've got plenty of our own problems we can use that money for. And while it's sad to hear that Magugu might not be able to get his, bowl of rice for 5 cents this day, I really don't care that the infrastructure there that's siphoning off 50% or greater of the funding that was supposed to go to them is losing it. And that's the bigger issue that nobody really is talking about on the left or the right, is that these NGOs and all of this inefficiency in between where the money is coming from to where it is going, losing 50, 60, 70% of the funding before it makes it to the actual people to do any help. So you're making all these people stupid rich all the way along, all along the way. And they're the ones that are bitching. Which, I get it. I mean, I didn't like losing my job. But you deal. And you move on. And then you sit around for 18 months filling out applications and getting rejection after rejection after rejection. And so you set up a webcam and start bitching on the internet. Next one. This warmed my heart. I was so happy to see this. And the reason is because I had a long conversation with Grok a few days ago about what it would take to get me to vote for Gavin Newsom for president. But I was making the broader point that right now, this man is evil, I think. I view him as he is the Patrick Bateman of politics. He is the silver-tongued devil that is twacked out and bobbing back and forth on news camera while waiting for an interview in front of a fire. He is the one that is lying to one of his people about trying to call Joe Biden and the call hadn't even been sent. He is the scum of the earth. But even he is redeemable. And it would take a lot for me to throw my audience of none and my support behind the guy. But it's not to say that I would never vote for him. I would just have to see a long, consistent, good faith, and well-executed effort to not just say he was wrong on the issues and promise to move forward, but actively work to repeal a lot of what would stand as his legacy for the sole reason that it is a violation of the duty he swore to protect the Constitution and the people and it, blah, 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 blah. Basically, Gavin Newsom wants my vote. He gotta not be a globalist, libtard douchebag. And this is the first step, like, real talk. California Governor Gavin Newsom launches his own podcast in which he'll interview MAGA-ites. Can we just say, like, populists? This program will be produced by iHeart Podcasts. I volunteer as tribute. I'll sit there and talk to the dude. It'd be fun. I don't think we'd agree on much. I think I might get uppity. But, you know, I'd be polite about it. Respect the office for what it is, even if I disagree with him being legitimately there. California Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom said Wednesday he's launching his own podcast in which he'll interview guests who disagree with him on policy. And you know what? I like that, though. Like, just that premise alone is something that is, by and large, missing from the left. And if this is being done in good faith, if this is being done in earnest with the goal of bridging the divide and coming to understanding, like a mutual understanding or in, you know, respectful disagreement, it has my full-throated and both balls behind it endorsing it. If it's a way to, like, get clippable content, go fuck yourself. But we'll see. I'm talking directly with people I disagree with, people I look up to, and you, the listeners. Newsom wrote on social media platform X, egg prices, tariffs, Doge, we're tackling all your big questions. Are you doing it honestly? Is what I'd like to know. Are you doing it without bias towards the sources that you were using? Because, like, when I source articles, I use Ground News because I can pick from the spectrum, I can compare the headlines, I can see where the funding's coming from for each outlet, so I can see what their bias is innately and adjust for it and account for it. And so, again, there's a lot of little nitpicks that I would make on this, but it's overall a good idea so far. Newsom is considered a top likely Democratic candidate for president in 2028 and is considered among the most liberal within his political party, which means likely have to appeal to moderates and some conservatives to win a general election. Yes, that's how elections work. He said in a video that this podcast isn't an ordinary politician podcast. Newsom is going to speak to individuals in the MAGA camp as well as other Democrats, according to a report from the Politico outlet. We already know what our disagreements are with the MAGA movement, Newsom said. Everything, their very existence. According to the outlet, I want to understand what the motivations are, the legitimacy of those motivations, and really understand where the people are coming from. We've been saying it the whole fucking time, dude. Like, it's right out in the open. We're not, like... There's no hidden agenda. It's not like it's some closely guarded secret like Project 2025 was. Can't believe you fuckers fell for that one. Kidding. At the same time, I want Democrats to come on and sort of challenge where we are on a lot of these issues, Newsom said. And so I'm asking the same questions you're asking of me. Where the hell is our Democratic Party? Valid. Cool. My expectations are non-existent. But I hope that I'm surprised. In the pleasantly way. Not in the biblically way. And speaking of commies, the Kremlin says dialogue with U.S. should move forward, but nobody expects quick solutions. But I want it out! Like, duh. It's diplomacy. Of course it's gonna move at the speed of sloths fucking. Like, water's wet, I guess. Moscow, February 27th. The Kremlin said on Thursday that it believed dialogue with the United States should move forward as long as there is political will on both sides and a readiness to listen to each other, but said nobody expected quick and easy solutions. Well, I mean... like this right here, this qualifier, as long as there is political will on both sides and a readiness to listen to each other, that's kind of like the baseline for what diplomacy is, so okay. Yeah. Thank you. That's what we've been asking for. The Kremlin made its comments as Russian and U.S. diplomats met in Constantinople for talks aimed at resolving long-running disputes over their respective diplomatic missions in what is a first test of their ability to reset wider relations and work towards ending the conflict in Ukraine. It's the Ukraine. Speaking to reporters on Wednesday, Trump said Russia would have to make territorial concessions in future negotiations with Ukraine, but Kiev can forget about joining the NATO alliance. I like where this is going already. We're going to do the best we can to make the best deal we can for both sides, Trump said. But for Ukraine, we're going to try very hard to make a good deal so that they can get as much territory back as possible. That's fair. He's trying to bridge the gap. He's got Putin and Zelensky, and he's like gonna make them kiss. Moscow says 4 Ukrainian regions, Donetsk, Zaporizhia, Kherson, and Luhansk, are now part of Russia, even though it does not control any of them fully. Kiev and many Western countries reject Russia's claims as illegal. Asked about Trump's comments, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said Thursday, "What we are seeing is that President Trump himself speaks and is ready to listen to others." You can see it. We can see it. Why can't the Democrats see it? No one expects solutions to come easily and quickly. The problem at hand is too complex and neglected. But with the two countries' political will, with a willingness to hear and listen to each other, I think we will be able to get through this working process, Peskov told reporters. He said one topic possible Russia-U.S. cooperation would be joint development of natural resources in the Arctic, but said there were no substantive talks on that yet. Well, why not? Get on it. Get on it, diggity doggone it. And get to drill, baby, drill in the Arctic Circle. Fuck them polar bears, fuck them seals. Get that oil, make friends with Russia, take on China, peace. That'd be nice. Quick little space weather. Apparently that asteroid that was going to kill everybody is now not a problem at all. Turns out it was just gas. No, Christmas 2032 might be merry after all. New observations of city killer asteroid 2024 YR4 have ruled out an impact with Earth on December 22nd, 2032, according to JPL. The odds of a strike have plummeted to a minuscule 0.002%. I think that's higher than the death rate for COVID-19. Just saying. Safer than crossing the street or driving a car. Yeah. Got millions of asteroids from Alpha Centauri. The bugs have sent the asteroids at us. Remember Buenos Aires. God, I love that movie. That movie was great. Still, current spotless days is 0. Sunspots everywhere. X-class flare a couple days ago. Anything else interesting on here? Auroral oval is pretty well defined. Damn. That's pretty strong right there. What else we got? KP index point. Oh, okay. More data. We need more data. Oh, it's not showing the graph. Damn it. See, in the next 24 hours, 65% chance of M-class flare, 25% chance X. Decent chances for some auroral activity, or geomagnetic storm activity. That's neat. Cool. Let's look at fluid dynamics on a global scale. I love this site. This site is so cool. So what we're seeing is the atmosphere and the current wind maps and wind patterns to see what's going on here. I wonder if this is still here. Noticed something really cool last time I looked at this too. it was at the... That's the edge of space. That's the upper troposphere. No. It's basically almost a four-leaf clover shape over the Arctic or Antarctic, which looked really cool. And it kind of reminded me of the way that Jupiter has the Saturn has the hexagonal poles or whatever. Has the hexagonal ring at the poles, which is really cool. Let's see if we got one on the North Pole then. It's kind of wonky looking. Kind of oblong. So let's see, where's our jet stream? There's a jet stream. Got a weird little eddy in it right there. It looks like it's plunging down there. What is that? Just a warm air mass or something? So that's, let's see. Hurricanes are like this. So low pressure system, high pressure. Okay. I'm not a good meteorologist because I'm not a meteorologist at all. But I like looking at pretty maps. This is our temperature overlay. What do we got? Nice and just springtime. Neato. And for final, look at the Doppler radar. Look like we got a little bit of rain in the east, in the Middle East, and in Canada and Lobster Land, I guess. Yeah. Oh, it is in Canada. Anything out here where I'm at? What we got? A little bit out in the mountains, out east, but nada. Anyway, that's gonna do it, I think. Yeah. See y'all tomorrow.